Okay, so it's March 1st, which means Rye Revival. And not only Rye Revival, but Maryland Rye Revival.
Yeah.
So, since colonial times in America, rye was definitely a predominant crop in the Maryland area. And bumper crops led to surplus, which meant what else we're going to do but make liquor.
Yeah.
So, rye was definitely a massive crop in the Maryland area, which led to a Maryland style rye. And it was definitely sought after all through America.
Now, we've talked a little bit about it just in between the two of us and the difference between Pennsylvania rye and Maryland rye. So, my understanding is when we talk about the Maryland rye, they actually had more corn
Yes.
in their mash bill, so that had a sweeterness to their rye.
Yeah.
So, it was very sought after. But then Prohibition happened, right?
Yeah.
And the problem that the Maryland rye industry faced was a lot of their distilleries were in those urban areas,
Yeah.
which was prime real estate for other businesses. And unfortunately, because of Prohibition, those distilleries got sold off. Other businesses started, so we lost a lot of those distilleries. So when Prohibition ended, you know, the Pennsylvania distilleries that weren't in those urban areas, the Kentucky distilleries that weren't in those urban areas could just start production up. But those distilleries in Maryland that were in those urban areas weren't able to because they no longer had that location.
Yeah, and it took decades to
It did.
bring back Maryland Rye to where it was. And I mean, a lot of these haven't even started back up until the late 1900s.
Yeah, exactly. So it has been great to see that Maryland rye start to become much more popular. I mean, I realize that you're the rye guy, but I do enjoy the rye. And we've talked a little bit about the different ryes that we've had, and we will in the future as well. But it is really good to see the Maryland rye become much more prominent and much more popular in recent years as well.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that most people know, I mean, especially in the East Coast, that Sagamore is probably one of the largest rye distributors, you know, commercially that there is. But there are so many great rye distilleries in Maryland, and I think we've hit almost all of them. There could be some others that we haven't hit yet, but
And we've done the McClintock episode on rye.
yeah,
And we'll record one on this for Sagamore as well. But there are some great distilleries out there that are producing the Maryland rye.
yeah. And Pathfinder, which was one of our very first episodes, we actually had some rye moonshine, which, you know, that's not something that we see very often in the rye world. You know, you get corn moonshine, but the rye shine was great. And these bottles on the end here, on either end of us, that's going to be something that you guys are really going to enjoy. So we went to the Baltimore Distilling Company for their epic rye, and we got to blend our own bottles, which is going to be really kind of cool because we don't know what each of us blended. It's a complete and total surprise to each other. So we'll get to sample our own plus each other's and kind of give a comparison of what we think. And
I know whose is going to be better.
oh yeah, mine's better. You know, mine's better, of course. Duh. I mean, but yeah. So
But I mean, I think the Maryland rye, it definitely has that bold rye flavor. It definitely has the sweetness, the spiciness, definitely complexity to the flavors. And I think the fact that Maryland has this rye revival going on today, I think is a testament to the popularity of Maryland rye, but also where we want it to go in the future and become more and more popular.
yes, very much so. I mean, you know, everyone's doing a rye. I mean, we have a really good Basil Hayden's. We've basically, when we went to Pennsylvania a few months ago, that's probably 80% of what we bought was Pennsylvania Rye, which is going to be great. It's going to be for future episodes and things we've already put out. But I'll tell you what, and I will shamelessly plug this. It is a Maryland style rye, so we have to give them that. Made in West Virginia, but shout out to my buddies at Black Shirt Distillery. for the Hannahsville Rye, which I think has become my awakening to whiskeys and rye products in general. We've talked about this before that, several years ago, I would basically choke down a Jack and Coke and absolutely hate it, but it was what I had to do to be in the social norm. And it kind of, that rye has almost started this for me to enjoy a neat, an on the rocks, and just experiencing the distillery itself is kind of opened my eyes to the world of distillation, and I can't thank them enough for helping kind of create this.
Yeah, they have. But to go along with that is, when we talk about Pathfinder, McClintock, Sagamore, Dragon, Epic, I mean, they've also done a great job, and, the Maryland Rye and Black Draft are all phenomenal products.
Can't go wrong with any good rye, that's for sure.
And bourbon.
No, it's all good. Whatever you're drinking is, whatever your style, whatever you enjoy the most, continue drinking it, experiment with new things. But I think as a Rye Revival day, I'm excited to see what the future holds for rye and Maryland Rye in specific.
And if you had an opportunity to go out and enjoy the Rye Revival in Baltimore, drop a comment. We'd love to hear your comments about how you thought the event was. And great job to the Maryland distilling companies out there to put this festival on.
Yeah. Okay, guys, until next time, this is the Black Shirt Bourbon Society. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, drink safe, you all.